Despite conditions that were expected to favour fast bowling, the West Indies attack had little success on the opening day of the two-test series against host New Zealand at Seddon Park in Hamilton. Captain Kane Williamson and opener Tom Latham both scored half-centuries as New Zealand closed on 243 for 2. Ricardo Chambers recaps the action.
More runs for New Zealand and Latham.
The first session lost to rain, and when play was finally possible, West Indies elected to field. Lovely looking green top for the Windies' four-pronged pace attack. Shannon Gabriel causing trouble, but not being backed up behind the stumps.
Darren Bravo left it for Shane Dorridge, who committed and then pulled out.
However, the very next ball,
He gets it this time.
Will Young on debut gone for 5. That was all the success the Windies would have for a while though. A combination of poor lines plus astute batting from Tom Latham and Captain Kane Williamson, producing a 154-run second wicket stand.
To bring up Test 50, number 33 for New Zealand's captain Kane Williamson.
Kemar Roach, who earlier shed tears days after his father's death, needing a peach to get rid of Latham for 86.
These have finally broken through.
Williamson pushing to an unbeaten 97, 3 short of his 22nd Test 100, and along with 36-year-old Ross Taylor, added an unbeaten 75 for the 3rd wicket. New Zealand 243 for 2 at the close from 77 overs bowled.
Yeah, they have started the second day's play and the New Zealanders have now moved up to 258 for 3. Ross Taylor has been dismissed. Shannon Gabriel getting his wicket. Kane Williams, the New Zealand captain, moving on to 100. He's now 102 not out. Now Latham and the West Indies vice-captain Roston Chase spoke to reporters at the close of the first day's play, both agreeing that the Caribbean men had failed to get the best out of the conditions.
Yeah, I think even though the wickets are traditionally very green on day one here in New Zealand, they don't tend to do as much as you would probably think. As I said, they probably bowled a fraction short, which allowed us to get ourselves in a little bit more, or a little bit earlier than probably what they would have liked. But again, it's about trying to adapt to each surface and have a game plan and try to stick to that. And we managed to do that today.
Yeah, I thought we could have made the batsmen play a little bit more, although they left the ball well in certain areas. I thought that we could have made them play a little bit more. But also we thought the pitch would have done a bit more, seeing that it was such a green pitch. But I thought that the pitch played really well. Some balls, probably 2 or 3 balls throughout the day just took off our full length. But other than that, I thought that the pitch.
Yeah, so a solid start for the Black Caps against the touring West Indies, as we said, 258 for 3 now early on the second day's play. Wayne Lewis, one of our presenters here on the SportsMax zone, spent his entire playing career as a cricketer as an opening batsman. Now, when you looked at the pitch conditions, Wayne, because it didn't look different from the outfield, by way of how much grass was on the pitch. As an opening bat, how would you have felt being sent in those conditions? And how do you assess the New Zealand performance?
I would say this is madness, but I can tell you, it depends. The grass grows through the surface and it comes up with no bumps and so on, it's fine. The ball is going to seam around a bit. It prevents you from really looking at the pitch to see how dry it is or anything like that, because there's not a pitch to see. It's all grass. I've never seen a pitch with so much grass before. Right. That to me was a little intimidating, and I thought that we would have made inroads into them. Yes, it's the first day of the test match, so therefore the pitch is going to be a little slower, a lot of moisture in it and so on. There was overnight, there was rain in the first session. That means the pitch would have been sweating a little more as well. I thought that with a little more luck, we could have made a little more inroads, particularly when Latham was edged to the wicketkeeper and only Bravo appealed. The fact, though, that the umpire needs to be called in question here, because while the other guys didn't appeal, even the wicketkeeper, Bravo vociferously appealed for a while and was wondering what was happening, and the umpire unmoved. I thought he should have had a discussion with the captain, Maria, just to say, listen, I think we should check this, because if he was that confident that he heard a nick, then they should have questioned it, and we would have lost the wicket there, and we would have maybe pushed on a little more.
Wayne, I have a question for you. Jason Holder, of course, won the toss and decided to bowl. If you had won that toss, would you have bowled?
That's a very good question, Maria. I mean, 99.99% of the time, I would always want my team to bat first. But if you notice, Kane Williamson, the captain of New Zealand, said he would have asked the West Indies to take first strike as well.
Yeah.
Because the pitch is slow and moisture and a lot of grass on it, and it will be asking a lot of questions. I just thought that we weren't very disciplined in keeping the ball up. And they talked about the fact that there were so many short balls that West Indies bowled and wide deliveries and so on. That made it a little easier for them.
When do you get the sense that maybe we lack confidence where batting is concerned, despite having a good warm-up match?
Well, when you're not used to winning test matches and winning games a lot, then it becomes very difficult. And usually, maybe sometimes they say they want to see what's happening first. But I'm always of the opinion that you need to think about your fourth innings when the pitch is starting to misbehave and so on. You don't want to be batting at that stage. You can bring yourself unnecessary pressure. But as you said, West Indies, I mean, they're playing their first test in New Zealand. And for a long time, a lot of grass on the pitch, overcast conditions and so on, green outfield. And I thought that this is one time that we're not faulting too much because Kane Williamson, as I said, would have asked West Indies to take first strike as well.
Yeah. One of the factors I would think could have played a bit on the decision to field would be, you know, as Mariah was just mentioning, maybe a little bit of lacking in confidence for the batsmen because the New Zealand new ball lineup looks pretty solid. Kyle Jemison is 6 feet 7 or 8 inches tall, and there's Bowles, Southey, and Wagner as well. Very, very solid new ball men. And I am getting the impression, it's easy to speak in hindsight now, you know, based on what happened on the opening day. But I am of the opinion if that New Zealand quartet had the opportunity to bowl on that pitch on the opening day, they would have done a lot better than the West Indies bowlers did.
Maybe, but I don't know that I agree with you that it's lack of confidence. Maria alluded to it just now.
Yeah.
Because Kane Williamson, he had suggested that he would have asked West Indies to take first strike. I don't know that he'll be saying they are lacking in confidence. I just think that the pitch was asking some questions, just looking at it with so many grass on it, and there was fact that the first session was washed well, rained out, and moisture around and so on, and with their fast bowlers they're looking to exploit with, of course, Trent Boult is going to get the ball to talk. He's going to be swinging the ball all over the place as a lefty, a southpaw. So therefore, I agree with you, West Indies would have had their hands full dealing with those fast bowlers.
That was more where my point was skewed, that not so much about the West Indies batting ability, but more the potency of this New Zealand opening attack with the ball to do more damage than the West Indies men were.
Well, it's usually very slow in the lance.
Yes.
I mean, the first day of the test match, the pitch tends to be a little slow. It quickens up in the second day when it's dried out, more sun on it and the wind and so on. Then it gets a little faster and a little bouncier in the second in the second day. And West Indies is looking to take advantage of that. They were hoping to get inroads, bowling them out early, maybe on the second day, and they can get an opportunity to bat second and the third day when the pitch would have been at its best.
Yeah.
So I don't know that he was really lacking in confidence rather than the conditions that dictated that.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. For the first time, we are seeing, based on the number of West Indies players on the current tour, an opportunity for an A series to be conducted pretty much at the same time on a tour with this West Indies team. So Romario Shepherd, the Guyanese, scored his maiden first-class 100 as the West Indies A were bowled out for 322 on the opening day of their unofficial 4-day test match against New Zealand A at the Bay Oval in Manganui. The Guyanese right-hander, who came in at number 9 with a score on 112 for 7, hit 14 fours and 7 sixes in 133 of 154 balls. The 26-year-old was well supported by Raymond Reefer, who contributed 65. The highly touted left-hander Nicholas Pooran made 46 of 74 deliveries, so clearly he was willing to bat and watch the ball and not smash the ball around as he does in white ball cricket. New Zealand A closing the opening day at 10 without loss. During the show, we will update you on the New Zealand A response. But what an innings that would have been, Mariah and Wayne, from Romario Shepherd, who I don't know if he's more considered a bowling all-rounder because on the evidence of what happened yesterday or last night, our time, Caribbean time, he certainly would put his hand up as a batting all-rounder.
Definitely, and I think, you know, as we said previously on the show, just getting runs, getting runs to your name will boost the 26-year-old confidence. Of course, I think it's a good start, and it gives the selectors an opportunity to assess moving forward. If any of the actual test players decide to slip up, Romario Shepherd can easily steal or spot. I think moving forward, though, he has to continue to get runs to his name lands. This is the opportunity for him to do that, and all the other players taking part in this practice match.
This is crazy. I mean, Poran, I think, got 40 or 47 or 46 or something like that. That's 46. That's 200 runs out of the 300 out.
22.
322.
Yeah.
A lot of the batters didn't put their hands up. I mean, Shepherd is not going to make the West Indies team as a batsman. I mean, he needs to go there and still bowl. He's happy. I'm very happy that he actually got his maiden first-class century and ended up with 321, a decent performance in terms of the runs. But a lot of the batters in that team will be very disappointed with their performance, because outside of that innings, I mean, we were dying straight. We were looking really, really, really poorly. And I'm so happy that he got those runs. Hope he can take some wickets and start to take a claim for a test place, because 133 is nothing to scoff at in terms of the conditions in New Zealand with the grass top wickets and so on. That must have been a magnificent and an amazing innings.
Yeah, you know that before we leave that, good point you just made there, Wayne, that the top order batsmen should have done a lot better, because Raymond Reefer, who got 60 odd, was the second highest scorer in the innings, and he is a middle order batsman as opposed to Shepherd, who was a tail ender batting at number 9, and the men at the top didn't get a lot of runs. Pooran, I think he batted 4. I think Pooran batted at number 4, and he just got 40 odd. Now, there's a lot of cricket on SportsMax. The Lanka Premier League T20 action continue. Of course, today Chadwick Walton made 31 on 14 balls for the Gall Gladiators, but they were beaten in their match. And remember, Andre Russell is back bowling, and he's always dangerous with the bat as well. Catch him Friday as the Colombo Kings face the leaders Jaffna Stallions in a match 11 of the tournament. That starts 9:30, 10:30 Eastern Caribbean time.